Toolshed TV.
Hello there, folks. Today's Sunday. It was the final between the United States and Japan that I just watched. But first off, I just want to thank our sponsor for this episode of this show. We still don't have a sponsor. So I mean, if you want sponsors, please let me know. But up to now, I'm kind of doing this by myself. But my hate comment for today comes from I actually don't have his username because he's not very important. So he says, "Shut the fuck up, you anti-American prick." I mean, I'm kind of enjoying this today, especially since America lost. Now all of a sudden, everybody doesn't give a shit about women's soccer anymore, or the whole World Cup, or they can start pretending. But yeah, the only problem I had with the entire United States World Cup is just that, honestly, like I was seeing comments about how people were saying that the women could easily beat the men, like the national teams and stuff, and how they were so much better, and how the men could use, Amy Weinbeck, whatever the fuck her name is, on their team and stuff, like score goals. But the truth is, they're two completely different classes. Like, did you see the game today? Are you gonna sit there and tell me that you think the women for U.S. can beat the men? Like, are you really forgetting what the men did last year, where they, had the ridiculous game against Algeria? They had that amazing comeback against Slovenia. Like, you can't like suddenly, you can't live in the moment and suddenly be like, oh, we're disappointed in our men. The United States men's soccer team is growing leaps and bounds. Like, you can't hate them. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a difference. The women are ranked number one in the world right now in FIFA, if I'm not mistaken. They were one of the favorites to win it. So for them to lose in the final was actually almost like a disappointment because they were obviously the favorite. Whereas the men went into every game basically the underdog because nobody really took or still takes American soccer too seriously. So all the games that they won, you gotta give them credit for. Like, maybe they don't play as beautifully or whatever, but how can you, like? Did you see what the women did today? Like, they're an amazing team, but they make the stupidest mistakes ever that you have to like call them out on it. Like, one, they can't finish. They create perfectly, but like, I have the stats of the game. The U.S. had 27 shots. Of these 27 shots, only 5 were on goal. So basically, what it was they're creating amazing plays. They were dribbling the ball around. They were having amazing like attacks going, but then they could only get 5 shots on goal, and the rest of them soared everywhere. They hit the post once, hit the crossbar once, and this isn't a problem just for one game. This has been going on forever. Like, the entire World Cup that I remember, they just can't capitalize on their situations, and it came to bite them in the ass. Even though they should have won the game, they were clearly the better team. But give Japan a lot of credit. They fought with a lot of heart. Japan had only 14 shots, and 6 of them were on goal. So Japan had more shots on goal. And the other thing I have is, what is wrong with the United States defense? Like, did you see, like, they're kicking the ball into each other, like, so many times where, like, one defender kicked the ball right into the other one. The first Japanese goal resulted not because Japan had a nice attack going or anything like that. Like, they get that out of here. Like, the American defender kicked into another defender. The Japanese person happened to be standing right there and tapped into the net. And that wasn't a one-time thing. It happened so many times. Like, Japan didn't really have any. The best Japanese situation they had was that one-on-one that they had that was called an offside, which really wasn't. That was the best play they had. I mean, that was the best offense. The rest of it was just American defenders kicking into each other. Like, I've never seen anything that like bad. Like, I was criticized for calling it sloppy before. What are you gonna call that? Like, that defense was just atrocious. And then the other goal Japan scored was off a corner kick where the Japanese player was like 5'3" or something. Fucking managed to get a header in there. Like, that's just unacceptable. Like, I mean, call me un-American or whatever. I mean, I was cheering for the Americans the whole way there. Like, I was just disappointed with the effort they put out. Like, I mean, they played well the whole game, but then they choose to have these mental lapses in defense. I mean, you can't be too upset. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's giving Japan a lot of credit, because they had the disaster happen, and that's true. Give them a lot of credit. They deserve it. They probably needed this win a lot more than we did. So as last time, America met Japan in a competitive event was World War II, and we won that one. So I mean, I guess we're even now. Maybe, or honestly, I mean, get out and look at it objectively. The Women's World Cup isn't that major of an event. Isn't obviously all of a sudden all the Americans care about it now because we're in the final and shit. But truthfully speaking, we're still it's still not that big of a deal. So I mean, You want to know my reaction to it? You probably don't. I'm probably gonna receive a lot of hate from anyway, but I mean, it really doesn't matter. Like I'm cheering. I love our men's side. Like, but the thing is, our men's side going up against stars every day. They can't even, don't even compare the men's side to the women's side. Who's the women's side? The only star in women's soccer is Marta from Brazil. That's it. Who else can you name? The men's side is going up against. Remember, they go up against England. They go up against like the Brazils and all these ridiculous teams with all the stars. Come on, you can't. Don't insult the men's side. Like you were cheering for them last year. Did the women's side make the finals? Yeah, but it's a much smaller scale. The women's World Cup and the men's World Cup. And call it sexist, call it whatever you want, but you know, like even in America, you want to know what the viewership is for the women and the men? The men's World Cup averaged twice as many viewers as the women's World Cup. Even though American men aren't as good as American women, according to so many of you fucking idiots. Come on. It's a completely different level. American men would go up against Messi, whereas, you know, the United States women would go up against a bunch of 5'3" people you have no idea who the fuck they are. Like, come on. Just don't insult, you know, American soccer. Like, the American soccer team, they've accomplished so much now. And you look at the American women's soccer team, yeah, granted, they made the finals. Don't expect the same from the men. Come on. The whole world cares a lot more about the men's World Cup than the women's, alright? So, just bear that in mind when you criticize, you know, or when you make crazy claims in, you know, ESPN or whatever. But whatever. Congratulations to Japan. They definitely earned it. That's about it. Have a good day, guys, and you know, leave your comments below. Let me know. You know, subscribe to me. I love subscribers. You know, a lot of you hate me. I love you.